Welcome to the channel. In today's fast-paced modern world, stress and anxiety have become so normalized that many people don't even realize how deeply they're affecting their minds and bodies. We wake up with our phones in our hands, check notifications before even brushing our teeth, and immediately feel a rush of urgency to catch up with the world. This constant cycle of alertness and worry triggers something deeper inside us, a slow, silent breakdown of both mental peace and physical health. When stress becomes part of everyday life, it doesn't just make you tired or moody. It begins to reshape how your brain and body function. Every thought of fear, every moment of panic, every sleepless night adds up, quietly creating a storm inside that the body tries to endure. Most people think stress is only a mental problem, something that makes you feel anxious or restless. But in truth, stress is a full-body experience. It activates a series of biological responses designed for survival. When the brain senses danger, whether real or imagined, it triggers the release of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that prepare the body to fight or flee. These hormones are useful in short bursts, but when the stress response is activated every day, it becomes toxic. Your heart starts working harder, your blood pressure rises, and your immune system weakens. Over time, your body becomes stuck in this state of emergency, wearing down the very systems that keep you alive and balanced. Anxiety often walks hand in hand with stress. It's that constant feeling of unease, the fear of what could go wrong, the inability to calm down even when everything seems fine. Chronic anxiety traps your brain in a cycle of overthinking and anticipation. The brain's alarm system, the amygdala, stays overactive, flooding your body with warning signals. You might notice you're constantly tired, unable to focus, or feeling tension in your shoulders and stomach. These aren't random symptoms. They're signs that your body is fighting a battle you can't see. When the mind doesn't rest, neither does the body. Sleep, which is meant to restore the mind and body, becomes one of the first victims of chronic stress. Many people lie awake at night replaying worries in their heads, unable to switch off. Poor sleep then worsens stress and anxiety, creating a vicious loop. Lack of rest affects memory, mood, and concentration, making small challenges feel impossible. You start losing patience with people, making mistakes at work, and feeling emotionally drained. The smallest inconveniences trigger anger or sadness, and this emotional instability further fuels stress hormones, keeping the body trapped in exhaustion. The digestive system is another major target of everyday stress. Have you ever noticed that when you're anxious, your stomach feels tight or unsettled? That's because stress directly interferes with digestion. Blood flow is diverted away from the gut to the muscles in preparation for fight or flight, slowing down normal digestive processes. This can lead to bloating, constipation, or even diarrhea. Long-term stress can disrupt the gut microbiome, the community of bacteria that support digestion and immunity, leading to inflammation and weakened resistance to illness. Your gut and brain are deeply connected through the vagus nerve, meaning when your mind is stressed, your stomach feels it too. Over time, chronic stress can alter appetite patterns. Some people lose their appetite completely, while others overeat as a way to cope. Emotional eating often involves high sugar or high-fat foods, which temporarily boost dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, but ultimately increase inflammation and fatigue. These unhealthy habits can contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and heart problems. The very behaviors meant to comfort us in moments of anxiety often end up worsening our health, creating a dangerous loop of emotional and physical strain. The immune system also suffers under chronic stress. In the short term, cortisol suppresses inflammation, but when stress becomes constant, the immune response becomes dysregulated. You may start catching colds more often, take longer to recover from illnesses, or develop autoimmune conditions. Inflammation, the root cause of many chronic diseases, begins to rise throughout the body. Researchers have found that people with long-term stress are more prone to conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. The immune system's delicate balance is thrown off, leaving the body vulnerable to attack. Meanwhile, the cardiovascular system bears a heavy burden. When stress hormones stay elevated, the heart works overtime. Blood vessels constrict, blood pressure rises, and cholesterol levels fluctuate. Over years, this can lead to hypertension, atherosclerosis, and an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. Many people don't realize that emotional stress can be as harmful to the heart as a poor diet or lack of exercise. The tension you feel after an argument or during financial pressure doesn't just stay in your mind, it literally changes how your heart beats and how your blood flows. The brain itself undergoes changes under chronic anxiety. Areas responsible for memory and emotional regulation, like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, shrink in size with prolonged exposure to stress hormones. This means people find it harder to think clearly, make decisions, or remember things. At the same time, the amygdala responsible for fear and emotional responses grows more sensitive. As a result, the brain becomes wired for worry, making calmness harder to achieve. This neurological transformation explains why people stuck in long-term stress often feel trapped in a state of constant panic or sadness. When left unchecked, stress and anxiety can lead to depression. The constant tension, sense of helplessness, and exhaustion wear down your resilience. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood and pleasure, become imbalanced. You begin to lose interest in things you once enjoyed. Motivation fades and hopelessness takes over. What began as everyday stress, work deadlines, relationship issues, financial worries turns into a heavy emotional weight that clouds every part of life. This is why mental health awareness is so vital. What seems like normal stress might actually be the first step toward a deeper psychological struggle. Chronic stress also takes a toll on your physical appearance. Constant exposure to cortisol accelerates the aging process. It breaks down collagen in the skin, leading to wrinkles, dullness, and a tired appearance. Hair may become thinner or fall out completely due to hormonal imbalance. Stress also affects hormonal cycles in women, leading to irregular periods, acne, or other skin issues. In men, it can lower testosterone levels, leading to fatigue and decreased motivation. The body's outer appearance often mirrors what's happening inside. When your mind is under pressure, your body shows it. Social relationships are not immune to the effects of stress and anxiety either. When someone is overwhelmed, they may withdraw from others or lash out in frustration. Communication breaks down, and misunderstandings become common. Stress makes empathy harder, patience shorter, and trust weaker. Over time, friendships and romantic relationships can crumble under the weight of unresolved emotional pressure. Ironically, social connection is one of the best natural remedies for stress, yet stress itself drives people to isolate. This creates a painful cycle of loneliness and further anxiety. Workplace culture has become one of the biggest sources of chronic stress. The constant demand for productivity, fear of failure, and pressure to meet unrealistic deadlines have turned many jobs into emotional battlegrounds. Remote work, while convenient, has blurred the boundaries between personal and professional life. Many people now live in a state of always-on mode, checking emails late at night or worrying about tasks even during weekends. The brain never fully switches off, which leads to burnout, a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion that makes even small tasks feel impossible. Burnout is more than just tiredness. It's a deep emotional collapse caused by prolonged stress. People experiencing burnout often feel detached, cynical, and unmotivated. Their creativity fades, concentration drops, and their health deteriorates. This state doesn't develop overnight, it builds slowly, fueled by neglecting rest and self-care. Many try to push through it, thinking they just need to work harder, but that only deepens the damage. Recovery from burnout requires time, patience, and a complete change in lifestyle habits. Technology plays a silent but powerful role in worsening modern stress. Constant notifications, news alerts, and social media comparisons keep the brain in a constant state of stimulation. The fear of missing out or FOMO adds invisible anxiety to our daily routine. The dopamine spikes from scrolling through apps mimic addiction, making it harder to disconnect. This digital stress prevents true mental rest, and the blue light from screens interferes with melatonin production, further damaging sleep quality. Our brains were not designed to process this much information and emotional input 24/7. Financial pressure is another major driver of chronic stress. Rising living costs, debt, and job insecurity keep many people trapped in a state of financial anxiety. Money-related stress is unique because it doesn't just affect emotions. It influences decisions, relationships, and even self-worth. People under financial strain often feel ashamed or isolated, believing they must carry the burden alone. This emotional weight affects eating habits, sleep, and even immune health, making financial stress one of the most dangerous yet overlooked factors in physical decline. Financial stress not only burdens the mind but also reshapes behavior. When someone constantly worries about bills or debts, the body remains tense, releasing stress hormones that never switch off. This persistent tension affects eating habits, disrupts sleep, and weakens focus. Over time, people start making impulsive decisions, either overspending to feel better or neglecting responsibilities due to exhaustion. Chronic money anxiety becomes an invisible hand guiding every thought, every choice, and even physical health. It's not surprising that financial strain has been linked to high blood pressure, depression, and even heart disease. The connection between stress and physical illness is not abstract, it's deeply biological. When cortisol levels stay elevated, the body's inflammatory response becomes unbalanced. This chronic inflammation quietly damages tissues, blood vessels, and organs. Many diseases that seem unrelated like arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, or chronic fatigue are often worsened by stress. The immune system becomes confused, attacking healthy cells or failing to protect against real threats. This is why people under continuous pressure often experience mysterious pains, digestive problems, or persistent fatigue that medical tests struggle to explain. Mental health conditions also worsen in a stressful environment. Anxiety disorders, panic attacks, and obsessive thoughts often emerge from years of suppressed stress. The brain learns to expect danger everywhere. Simple tasks like driving, meeting people, or speaking publicly can trigger panic. The person knows the fear isn't logical but still feels powerless to control it. This is the cruel trick of anxiety. It convinces the mind that survival depends on constant vigilance. Living this way drains energy and robs joy from everyday moments. Another silent casualty of everyday stress is memory. Chronic tension reduces the efficiency of the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for forming and retrieving memories. People under stress often forget small details, lose track of conversations, or struggle to focus on reading and learning. This mental fog makes them feel less competent, which increases anxiety further. It's a self-feeding loop. Stress causes forgetfulness, forgetfulness increases frustration, and frustration deepens stress. The brain, once sharp and quick, begins to feel like it's wrapped in fog. Hormonal balance is another area that suffers under constant anxiety. In women, long-term stress can disrupt estrogen and progesterone cycles, leading to irregular periods, fertility issues, and severe premenstrual symptoms. In men, prolonged cortisol production can reduce testosterone, causing fatigue, low libido, and mood swings. These hormonal shifts not only affect reproductive health but also impact bone strength, muscle growth, and energy levels. People begin to feel older and weaker, not realizing that much of this decline stems from psychological strain rather than age. The skin, often called the body's largest organ, vividly reflects stress. Breakouts, eczema, psoriasis, and unexplained rashes can all be triggered by emotional pressure. Stress constricts blood vessels, reducing oxygen and nutrient supply to the skin, giving it a dull, tired look. The overproduction of cortisol also stimulates oil glands, leading to acne. Even wound healing slows down when stress hormones flood the system. It's why people under tension often notice their appearance change. The glow fades, dark circles deepen, and they look perpetually fatigued. Chronic stress also affects posture and muscular health. When the body is in fight-or-flight mode, muscles tense up automatically. Shoulders hunch, the jaw clenches, and the neck stiffens. Over time, this tension becomes habitual, leading to headaches, back pain, and joint stiffness. People try massages or painkillers, but the relief is temporary because the root cause stress remains unaddressed. This physical tightness mirrors mental rigidity. the body literally braces against life's pressures. Learning to relax physically can be one of the most powerful ways to begin healing mentally. The respiratory system too responds to anxiety. Many people unconsciously take shallow breaths when they're worried. This limits oxygen intake and can cause dizziness, fatigue, or even panic attacks. Some develop hyperventilation syndrome, where normal breathing feels impossible because the body has forgotten how to regulate itself calmly. Deep, controlled breathing is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to counter stress because it directly communicates safety to the nervous system. But when stress becomes chronic, even breathing feels like a battle. Relationships often crumble silently under stress. When one partner is constantly anxious, communication becomes strained. Arguments arise over trivial matters, patience wears thin, and emotional distance grows. Stress creates walls between people. It makes individuals defensive, fearful of vulnerability, and less capable of empathy. Friends and family members might misinterpret this withdrawal as coldness, not realizing it's emotional exhaustion. Without understanding and support, this emotional disconnection can become permanent, leaving the stressed person isolated precisely when they most need connection. Parenting under stress introduces another layer of complexity. Children are remarkably sensitive to the emotional states of their parents. When they sense constant tension, they often internalize it, developing anxiety themselves. Parents under pressure may become irritable or distracted, unintentionally passing on their fears through behavior and words. Over time, households filled with chronic stress can shape a child's nervous system to be hyper-alert, setting the stage for anxiety disorders later in life. This intergenerational transmission of stress shows how powerful emotional energy truly is. One of the most subtle yet destructive effects of everyday stress is how it numbs joy. When the brain is constantly flooded with worry chemicals, it loses sensitivity to pleasure. Activities that once brought happiness, music, nature, art, laughter, start feeling meaningless. The nervous system becomes addicted to adrenaline, mistaking calm for boredom. People start chasing busyness just to feel normal. This constant need for stimulation burns energy reserves, pushing the body closer to exhaustion. Real healing begins only when one learns to find peace in stillness again. Society's obsession with perfection also fuels anxiety. Social media filters, success stories, and highlight reels create unrealistic expectations. Everyone feels pressured to appear flawless, happy, fit, successful, and confident. This illusion of constant perfection isolates people, making them feel inadequate for simply being human. The comparison trap erodes gratitude, and gratitude is the natural antidote to stress. Without it, the mind always feels behind, chasing a happiness that keeps moving further away. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more health awareness content. Take care of yourself and stay stress-free.